My mom found a journal in our attic that contained some very dark secrets about my dad. These secrets have changed everything for me. My parents had been together since before I was born. They got married in their early 20s, and they always seemed so happy, even renewed their vows when they turned 50. But this journal has really changed everything. I'm not sure why we had an attic in the first place. It's not like we stored anything up there. It's just kind of dusty and cobwebs. It wasn't until recently that my mom decided to clean it out. At the time, I was taking care of my mom. She had just had surgery on her knee, and she was staying with us while she recovered. My husband and I were more than happy to have her stay with us. I mean, it's not like she was staying long. Just a few weeks until her knee healed. She started going up into the attic every day, coming back down with boxes of old stuff that she wanted to go through. Most of the things she brought down were clothes or old school yearbooks. Every once in a while, she would bring down something weird, like a box filled with old love letters or a lockbox filled with jewelry. I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back, maybe I should have been suspicious. Why was she keeping all of this stuff hidden in the attic? One day she came down from the attic with a worn leather journal. I asked her what it was, but she just said, "Oh, nothing." Then she went back up into the attic without the journal. I thought nothing of it until she came back down again. This time she had tears streaming down her face. "Why did he do this?" she cried. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I tried to ask her what happened. She wouldn't tell me. All she kept saying was, "Why did he do this?" I finally convinced her to go sit down and drink some tea. That's when she finally opened up to me. She told me she had found a journal in the attic, and that it belonged to Dad. And inside the journal, she found some very disturbing things. He had written down all these women's names, but not just women. There were also men's names. The entries started off innocently enough. He had written down the names of his co-workers, and then next to their names, he had written little comments. Some of them were compliments, but others were pretty inappropriate. I guess he had quite the wild imagination, because some of the things he wrote were pretty nasty. As the journal progressed, my dad became more and more explicit. He wrote down more intimate details about the women. I do want to know if he had actually slept with these women, or just fantasized about sleeping with them. But either way, it made my mom feel really uncomfortable. And that's when she found another section in the journal. This time it was a list of places. It's places that my mom and I had visited together. Every single place that my dad had taken my mom to, on a one-on-one basis, was listed in this book. And next to each place was a little note describing what he would do with her there. A lot of these places were restaurants that we frequented as a family. Next to the name of the restaurant, he had written down what he would do with my mom there. Some of the things he wrote were pretty graphic. Then she came across an entry that described a camping trip that we took when I was just a baby. It said something along the lines of, "Took op to the lake. She fell asleep early, which gave me plenty of time to get busy with Sarah." Sarah is not my mom. Sarah is my older sister. I have never known my sister to be promiscuous. In fact, I have never seen her take a sip of alcohol, and she doesn't even swear. So reading that really shocked me. It didn't end there. As the years went on, the list of women that my dad had slept with grew longer and longer. The thing is, none of these women were complete strangers. Most of them were people that we knew. Some of them were family friends who we would invite over for dinner. Others were family members. And that's when my mom started crying. She kept asking herself, why didn't I know any of this? The worst part is that I felt like I needed answers. Why was my dad keeping this journal? Why was he writing down all of these women? And most importantly, why didn't he tell us that he had a sex addiction? If he had told us, I might have understood why he cheated on my mom so many times. But a sex addiction suggests that he can't control himself. How could he expect my mom to just accept his cheating after reading this journal? It made me wonder if my dad was still seeing other women. Had he stopped cheating after he retired? Or was he still seeing other women? And how could I find out? Looking back, I probably should have left it alone. I knew that this would hurt my mom, but I couldn't help it. I needed answers. So I told my dad that I needed to talk to him about something important. He looked surprised, but agreed to meet me in the living room at 8 p.m. that night. When he got there, I told him to sit down. I then pulled the journal out from behind my back and asked him why he had written these things. He turned pale when he saw the journal. He tried to take it from me, but I held on tight. "Why did you keep this journal? Why did you cheat on Mom so many times?" I demanded answers. Instead of answering my questions, he started yelling at me. He told me to give him back the journal and to leave him alone. You don't have the right to know these things, he yelled at me. They don't concern you, but I wanted answers. I wanted to know why he had kept this journal. I wanted to know why he had cheated on my mom. Most of all, I wanted to know why he was acting so weird now that my mom had found the journal. The whole situation just kept getting crazier and crazier. Finally, he just stood up and walked away from me. Now, I totally understand that this was wrong of me to do. I should have respected my dad's privacy and left the journal alone. But I had so many questions, and I needed answers. When my mom found that journal, it had brought back a lot of painful memories. And ever since then, my relationship with my dad had become distant. We just weren't as close as we used to be. It's hard to describe, but ever since my mom found the journal, it was like there was this wall between us. He kept things very superficial between us. If I tried to talk to him about something deeper, he would just change the subject. But I finally understood why. He was ashamed of what he had done. The journal had brought back a lot of pain for my mom, and he didn't want to relive that pain by talking to me about it. I guess I was just hoping that he would tell me that he was sorry, that he would admit that he had done something wrong. But instead, he got angry at me for wanting to know the truth. That's when I realized that he wasn't going to change. He was still the same selfish man that he had always been. The only difference now was that he was too old to hide his selfishness. When he was younger, he was able to hide it. He was able to make everyone believe that he was a good person. But now that he was retired, he didn't care anymore. This is why I won't be visiting my parents this Christmas. I'm not sure if I'll ever forgive my dad for what he did. He betrayed my mom's trust so many times. Even now, he shows no remorse for what he did. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust him again, but one thing is for certain. This is not the man that I grew up believing him to be. If you liked this story, make sure to check out this one. I refused to let my boyfriend come to Christmas dinner unless he apologized to my dad. He refused, and now he's dumped me.